Take my hand, take my little hand, walk with me, and if you can, understand, I didn't plan for this road I'm on, but here I stand.
Hello, welcome to the Sweet Baby O podcast. I'm Lynn Browder, and I have a son, Owen, who is 10 and has autism. And I want to share about our journey with autism and the challenges, the victories we have, the way that our emotions run throughout the day, the meltdowns, sensory ideas, and everything else in between. It seems like every day is filled to the brim with one emotion after the other. And today was one of those days. I go through my own emotions. You know, each person does, and Owen has his. And lately he has been wanting everything instant gratification. Who truly doesn't want that? But he wants everything right in the moment. And he cycles through a lot of his skills, his words, his moments, his emotions, everything. And right now it seems like we're kind of circling through some of his emotional outbreaks and wanting to have things right that second, and something like the internet going out for 1 second, he will start screaming, and it can quickly escalate and turn into a meltdown. Or if his tablet, the battery goes out, he's pretty calm about that now. It used to be where he was very upset when his tablet would go out. We have the backup tablets because he would be very upset when his tablet would go out. But now he's calm about the battery, but then he wants it instantly plugged back in so it gets battery. So we're kind of in that middle ground where it's hard to tell what's the right way to do something. What do I need to work on with him? And what do I need to work on? And that there's always something going through. And by the time I circle around to getting this skill or helping him with that skill or getting somebody to explain how that, they might be doing something or, my mind spins. There's so much to do. and every day, you have to breathe, you have to move forward, and you have to work on certain things for both of us. And we both have to work together. And that's one of the things I always talk about with him is we have to work together as a team. We can't just let one thing rule our roost or go through the motions. And so we have to really work together to do this. Now, a lot of times it's more on the favor of Owen's side than my side, but I still try to get him to understand that we can't always get what we want. We can't always do exactly the things that we think we need to do or we think we're going to do. And that's hard with him. That's extremely hard. And so this blue pant thing has still been driving the train. Every day it's a focus, and I'm really trying to get him to understand that we can't judge people by what they're wearing. We can't expect people to be wearing something. We can't participate in any activities if we only are thinking someone's going to be in blue pants. I breathe again because this is so... It's so daunting of a task to try to figure out how to push him forward. So I started talking to him about kindness and grace and how we want kindness and grace on our own selves for our own things and for what we do. And so I keep telling him that we can't expect someone else to understand that we want them in blue pants. He wants them in blue pants. He wants every single person in the entire world in blue pants. So this past week, he still talked about it. He still talks about it nonstop, but he seemed calmer to me. And when we went to church, it was a victory because we walked in the door, and I had been praying the whole time there to get there. We walked in the door, and he didn't say a word to anyone about blue pants. He went through the whole lobby. I even stopped and talked to somebody. We finally got to his classroom, and that is when he said something about blue pants. And then he went on and started playing. And I just stood there, and I was so thankful for that moment. And so every day when he brings up blue pants, I talk to him about kindness and grace, kindness and grace. And it's a very repetitive thing. It's not something that he can learn instantly or he can change his mindset instantly. There's got to be a common thing, a theme, a idea, something that will move him forward. He's had a lot of behaviors like this where they stuck and they stuck and they stuck and then they circle around. He hasn't liked doors in years and now that's back. He hasn't had a light thing in years and that's back. He hasn't worried about the power in years or months, days maybe, and that's back. So everything kind of circles around and continues to go. So we have to kind of find the thing that moves him forward. So I'm really, truly hoping this kindness and grace kind of latches on to him and he can move forward because it's getting worse, not better. There's no side streets. There's nothing. He's powering through the blue pan thing. So we just have to learn to kind of move through it and see what we can do to get him to understand that he can't scream at somebody that they have to go home because they're not wearing blue pants. It's daunting to think what his mind goes through and how hard that must be on him to get through those moments. So all I can do is pray and hope and think and try to find the right ways to get him forward. Today was one of those days that every emotion I could possibly have, I've had. Every tear that could have dropped has dropped. And it's just one of those days that everything is a thing and every action is a reaction and it was all there. And it's not always about him and it's not always about me. There's other things that happen that make me happy, mad, sad, glad, all of those in between. And Owen doesn't always understand how to process those. My emotions, my thoughts. He can't always handle what I'm thinking or what I'm doing or how I'm reacting to something. So today, I just kind of sat a lot in my own misery and my sadness and happiness and everything else. And he was very, very calm, but yet very hyper. It's such a mix for him when he's acting like that. He was screaming and playing and he was so happy today and laughing. And he came to me and he wanted to draw cards. And I didn't know at first what he was talking about. And he came to me and he said, animal sounds, song, cars. And he has a hard time with some of those letters, the D sound and the T sound. When it's in certain words, he doesn't always pronounce them or he doesn't make that distinction with those letters. And so he said, animal sounds sing song cars. And I wasn't really sure. And he pointed to my crafts area, and I'm like, there's no cars in there. And he wanted me to follow him back into the other room, and he like had this video on, and it was this woman singing a song about the animal sounds, and she had these cards. She had these like flip cards. They were pretty good size, but he wanted paper, and I got some crayons, and he actually sat there with me, and he made a cow, a duck, a dog, and an owl. And he, wrote out the name. I held his hand a couple of times here and there, but he wrote out the letters, and on all 4 of them, and then on 3 of them, he wrote the sounds that they made. And then he was done, and he had to go to the bathroom. So that was huge. And as emotional as my day has been, thinking back at that moment, that was so incredibly huge, bigger than huge. It just was such an incredible moment, such a heartwarming, incredible moment for me, because he hasn't wanted to do that in a very long time. And then for him to actually hold the crayon and draw these pictures, you really can't tell that the owl had, a beak, and you can't tell that the cow had legs, and you can't really see the word cow, and you can't really see the word moo. But I can see all of those things because he did each one of those strokes while I was sitting there in awe of my baby. And it takes so much for him to do something like that because he doesn't use his hands a lot. We've been working on his fine motor skills for so long. And, it's one of those things that it's so dear to my heart because I never painted really before I started painting with him, and a friend suggested it to me, and so here I was, not really knowing what I was doing, but I started painting with him, and I had him help me paint the backgrounds with a hand-over-hand method, working on his fine motor skills. And 4 years later, we are still doing it. And he will paint with me every few days. We'll do, 3 to 5 or more of the backgrounds. And I don't want him to ever feel like it's a chore, but I want him to be able to explore all that type of creativity and work through his emotions and know that he can put anything down on that canvas, on that paper. And so when he brought me, or when he asked to do those cards, and he just sat there and went through all of those, and I'm really, truly hoping that in the next few days we can go back through and make some more of the animals that the lady was singing about in the song, and just go through all of the animals. To think that was his idea. And a lot of times when we painted together, occasionally he's wanted to create his own art, and we'll still do a hand-over-hand method and trying to kind of have him grasp a little more where the line should be. And it's kind of one of those catch-22 things. I want him to be able to put, an elephant ear wherever an elephant ear is supposed to go. But I also want him to be able to use purple on an elephant or make it into a box or make a square elephant or whatever he wants to do. So I don't want to ever put those lines, those boundaries on him, but I want him to be able to kind of see what something generally is. So today was really big for that. Today was that push forward, and it's still just, I keep thinking about it, and I kind of get myself in that emotional state again, because that was exactly the push I needed. That was exactly the moments that I needed. Spending that time with him, to see him ask to do something and then go through the motions to actually do it. It was huge. It really felt huge and incredible. So there was several of those moments today as we went through. He felt very connected, and some days I don't think that. I don't feel like he's like wanting to interact with me or wanting to work through things. And today he took a lot of the tips I worked with him on, or the storylines, or the we read today, we played games today, and I try to give him his time, and I try to give him our time. And at one point he pulled up a video and he came running to me, and he was so excited because he was singing it. And I love to hear his voice. I love to hear when he plays music. I love to hear when he sings music. He's got such an incredible voice. A lot of times he will mimic a character, and he just kind of makes random noises when he does that. But when he sings his true voice, it is truly amazing how clear it is and how strong his voice is. And I always tell him to sing it loud, sing it proud. And so today he came running, and it was a Christmas song from Mickey Mouse, one of their shows. And he just belted it out. He belted out just a little bit of the chorus. But it was such an amazing thing, because I always encourage him to sing, but he doesn't always want to sing when I'm trying to get him to sing. So for him to do this at that time, it's a wonderful thing. And to see him light up over singing this Christmas song, that makes it even better, because I've encouraged him for years, because I can hear his voice. I can hear that he has perfect pitch, and I'm not. He'll tell me not to sing sometimes, and I think it's because of my voice, but I don't have the perfect pitch. But I've always known that music was such an incredible thing, and that we had to work on that, and I had to foster the music side of his life. And so when he was a baby, I would take one of his hands and put it on my heart or my throat, and then I would put his other hand on my mouth. And I wanted him to be able to hear the vibrations that sounds and songs and words, made, and that he could really truly feel the vibration and feel that in his soul. And so the older he got, I wanted to be able to put instruments in his hand, and I wanted him to be able to sing. And so we work on scales, and that is one of the things that I was so excited about for when I got to hear his voice, when I got to hear his words, when he actually would start talking to me, because I wanted him to be able to express himself. And through music, through instruments, through all of that, you can really be able to express what you're feeling and express your emotions. And so for him to gravitate to music, to the different songs, to different instruments, all of that, it just makes me really happy. And to see that smile on his face, I knew exactly that was just the joy that I needed to carry me through the day. So there was so many highlights, and so many moments where I can see the progress. I can see him pushing forward. I can see the things that he's worked on and everything that he's going forward with. And it just gave me that spark that I needed, that just wonderful feeling that we are making progress. Some days it's hard because he will scream at me all day, or he'll be mad, or he'll just the emotions that he carries because he can't get his point across, or he can't figure out how to do something, or the internet goes out. Any of those things cause our day to flip-flop. And he truly has a hard time really saying what he means or saying what he feels, because he a lot of times says the opposite of what he means. Like if he's playing a game and the character on the screen shows emotions, if the character is sad, he will say it's happy. And he does this with everything. If it's not raining outside, he will say that it's raining. And if it's cloudy, he will say it's sunny. And it's just everything can be a reverse to him. And I think that's part of the way he processes it. And I think it's part of the way he is learning. And also, I think it has some to do with the fact that he then gets a reaction from me or from others, because they'll say, no, it's not raining, or I'll say, it is not raining today. And so he thrives on those interactions, but he doesn't truly know how to have conversation. He's just starting to kind of learn how to have those conversations and to be able to express his feelings or just talk about the weather. But when he talks about the weather, he talks about the weather in reverse, or weather that's not even happening. So it's kind of another one of those things that I have to learn how to get him to communicate and push forward and move through those moments and kind of see where he's at and what I can work on with him to move him forward. Oh, this week I'm so excited because next week's school. And what that means to us is he'll actually be able to have his routine, go back to his teacher, have the rules set in motion that he likes, and all of that structure, that very important structure, is what we've been missing all summer. And that's part of the reason I don't think he's been wanting to go as many places, because he relies so much on that routine and that structure. Anything out of the ordinary is like just the wheel that's not moving correctly. It just is out of order. And so thankfully he loves school and he loves his teacher, and he is still having a hard time processing it, because we keep saying in August you'll go to school, you'll see your teacher. And here it is towards the end of August, and he's finally going to get to see his teacher. But that took so long, and time is something that he understands, but he doesn't understand. He can probably tell time, kind of, but he can feel time. He knows when it's bedtime before it's even close to bedtime. Like, he will start asking for his blanket way before the blanket is supposed to even come out. So he knows time, and it's just a matter of having him kind of focus and figure out how to say, here's a day, here's a month, here's a week, here's a month, here's a year, whatever it is, 1 hour versus a minute. And he even says things like 30 seconds. He wanted to take a bath today, early in the day. And I said, it'll be in a few minutes. And he said 30 seconds. And I'm like, well, it's going to be a little longer than 30 seconds. But that was what he could relate to, or what he could process, or what he could say. And so I talked him through the 30 seconds, but I'm sure that's his go-to time frame. So he will say it again. And maybe one of these days I'll get ready in 30 seconds. I'm not sure, but we'll just keep processing and keep pushing forward. So it's really, truly been a week of growth. I feel we've had a lot of meltdowns, both of us. We've had a lot of ups and downs with just things that we need to accomplish, didn't accomplish, should have accomplished, all of those things. And so today, it felt like the victory we needed. It felt like the good things happened, and everything came together for him to be able to push forward, do the things he wanted to do, and we got them accomplished, and it felt really good. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm really thankful that his song was sung today. And it's one of those things that I'm growing and I'm learning just as much as he is. And so every day when we're going through this process, I have to remember that, and I have to think through, he's learning, I'm learning, we're growing, and that's the focus. That's the focus of us continuing to move forward. So today was a good day, and tomorrow I'm going to try to focus on that. Focus on going forward. Focus on the steps that we take. And that's what this journey is about. And I always say that Owen has taught me more about the world and about myself than I ever imagined possible. And so I'm very thankful for that. And autism is as much about how I handle it as it is about Owen having it. And so it's a process for me. He is an emotional child. He, like all of us, we're emotional. And so he wants what he wants. He just hasn't learned how to process it all and how to do things in my timely manner. It's in his timely manner. And and there's sometimes it's in my timely manner that I can't respond or I can't do something. And so we're working on it, and together as that team, we'll keep moving forward. I really appreciate everyone listening to this podcast, and please reach out to me. You can find me on sweetbabyo.com. You can also find me on Facebook. We have Sweet Baby O there, and we also have our Sweet Baby O Designs page where I post the paintings that we do together. And so please feel free to reach out to me and send me a message and suggest things that you'd like to hear about or things that you'd like me to talk about, any of those. And I truly appreciate all of you listening to the Sweet Baby O podcast. Now, the song that you heard at the beginning, and you'll hear the rest of it here at the end, this is called Down This Road by Marcus Oglesby, and he is with the band Creek Don't Rise. And this is about our journey with autism. So I appreciate everyone, and thank you for listening.
Life ain't always what we thought it would be. Sometimes heavy is the load. I won't give up on you. Don't give up on me. Take my hand down this road. Take my hand down this road. And understand, I understand. You don't understand the way I am. When you cry and I don't know why, I'll make you smile when you cry. Where this road will lead, nobody knows. Come with me and let's see just how far it goes. Take my hand, take my little hand, walk with me, and if you can understand, I didn't plan for this road I'm on, but here I stand. And life ain't always what we thought it would be. Sometimes heavy is the load. I won't give up on you. Don't give up on me. Take my hand down this road. Take my hand down this road. Take my hand.